Singular and plural. The difference between singular and plural nouns is easy to spot. When a noun indicates one only, it is a singular noun. When a noun indicates more than one, it is plural. In this video, we'll take a look at singular and plural nouns, providing both singular nouns example and plural noun example to help you recognize plural nouns when you see them. Singular nouns. It's when a noun means one only. It's said to be singular. Example: epidermis, collagen, dermis, adipose tissue, melanin. It requires to be used certain demonstrative adjectives which are this and that. Also, it needs the use of indefinite articles such as a or an, which indicate a singular form. Example: a hair follicle or an erectile tissue. Singular / uncountable forms are also obtained with the use of definite articles such as the. Example: the nail body, the free age, the cuticle. In the case of quantifiers, the number of is used with a singular verb. The following quantifiers require a singular verb: indefinite form such as any or every, definite form which can be each of, either of, much of, or little of, neither of, one of, and the last one, more than one of. Plural nouns. A plural noun is a word that indicates that there is more than one person, animal, place, thing, or idea. When you talk about more than one of anything, you're using plural nouns. When you write about more than one of anything, you usually use the same word, simply adding an s, es, or ies to the end. For example, nails, sweet glands, lipocytes. It also requires to use demonstrative adjectives which are these and those. Plural quantifiers. Firstly, the quantifier a number of is used with a plural verb. For example, a number of medical emergencies were treated at the end of December. Secondly, the following quantifiers require a plural verb. In the case of indefinite form, we can use all, few, many, most, several, and some. On the other hand, with definite form, we can use a couple of, a great deal of, a few of, a group of, a half of, a lot of, most of, a number of, plenty of. To be able to guide us correctly, we will describe below the plural nouns rules. Rule number 1. The plural of nouns is usually formed by adding s to a singular noun. For example, arm, arms, finger, fingers, head, heads, neck, neck. Rule number 2. Nouns ending in s, z, x, sh, and ch form the plural by adding es. For example, echo, echoes, box, boxes. Special note: if you add s to such nouns as fox, bush, and bench, you'll find that you cannot pronounce them without making an additional syllable. This is why such nouns form the plural by adding es. Rule number 3. Nouns ending in y preceded by a consonant is formed into a plural by changing y to ies. For example, coronary, coronaries, gastrectomy, gastrectomies, cardiology, cardiologists. Rule number 4. Nouns ending in y preceded by a vowel form their plural by adding s. For example, eye, eyes, kidney, kidneys. Rule number 5. Most nouns ending in O preceded by a consonant is formed into a plural by adding es. For example, echo, echoes. Special note: most nouns ending in O preceded by a vowel is formed into a plural by adding s. For example, folio, folios. And the last one, rule number 6. To make a plural of a word ending in f, change the f to a v and add a es. Similarly, if a word ends in fe, change the f to a v and add an s. The result for both types is a plural that ends in ves. This spelling arose because of the difficulty of pronunciation f and s together in English. For example, knife, knives, wolf, wolves. Regular plural nouns. They are nouns that do not become plural by adding s or es, as most nouns in the English language do. You are probably familiar with many of these already. For example,
the plural form of man is men, not mons. There are others, such as foot, feet, woman, women, tooth, teeth, child, children.
plural word endings in medical terminology. Since medical terms are derived from Latin and Greek terms, they do not always follow the normal rules for pluralization as English terms. These rules hold true in some instances but not all instances. There are always exceptions to these rules. Below are a few rules to remember when changing the singular form of medical terms to the plural form of medical terms.
Rule number 1. Words ending in A. When the singular form of the word ends with A, keep the A and add an E. For example, plura, pluri, vertebra, vertebrae. Rule number 2. Words ending in X. When the singular form of the word ends with X, drop the X and add CES. For example, pneumothorax, pneumothoraces. Rule number 3. Words ending in X. When the singular form of the word ends with X, drop the X and add ISIS. For example, cortex, cortices, apex, apices. Rule number 4. Words ending in is. When the singular form of the word ends with is, drop the s and add s. For example, anastomosis, anastomoses, prosthesis, prostheses. The next one is the number 5, word ending in ix. When the singular form of the word ends with ix, drop the x and add ces. For example, appendix, appendices. Number 6. Words ending in ma. When the singular form of the word ends with ma, keep the ma and add ta. For example, fibroma, fibromata. Number 7. Words ending with on. When a singular form of the word ends with on, drop the on and add a. For example, spermatozoan, spermatozoa. Number 8. Words ending with us. When a singular form of the word ends with us, drop the us and add I. For example, alveolus, alveoli, calculus, calculi. Number 9. Word ending with When a singular form of the word ends with drop the and add a. For example, atrium, atria, diverticulum, diverticula. Number 10. Words ending with y. When a singular form of the word ends with y, drop the y and add ies. For example, biopsy, biopsies. Number 11. Words ending with x. When a singular form of the word ends with x, drop the x and add ges. For example, meninx, meninges, phalanx, phalanges.
Subject-verb agreement. The subject of a sentence should always match the verb describing its action. This helps your reader understand who or what is doing something and makes your reading easier to read. How to do it? It's really easy. First, we need to identify the subject, the person or thing doing the action, and then the verb, the action word in a sentence. If the subject is singular, the verb describing its action should be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb should be plural, and that's all. Conjugation of verbs with personal pronouns. When it comes to make a verb agree with its subject, there are some similarities between irregular verbs and regular verbs. The subject is a noun that the verb refers to. To conjugate a verb, you will first need to be familiar with the various subject pronouns in this language, which are he, she, it, I in singular and we, you, they in plural. So there are two types of conjugation. The first one is the conjugation of the verb to be with personal pronouns, and the second one is the conjugation of another verbs with personal pronouns. There are some rules that we need to remember to conjugate correctly another verbs with personal pronouns. Rule number 1. Add s to singular verbs. Generally, when using singular third-person nouns and pronouns, all you have to do is add an s to the base form of a verb. For example, Mary bakes cookies. Rule number 2. Drop the s with plural verbs. In many instances, the reverse goes for plural nouns and pronouns. When it comes to plural nouns, you drop the s you added and created the singular form of the verb to create its plural form. For example, Mary and John bake cookies. Rule number 3. Add es to singular irregular verbs. In the case of irregular verbs for singular third-person nouns and pronouns, you sometimes add es to the base form of the verb. For example, he goes to Africa once a year. Compare this to the plural form where the es is dropped. They go to Africa once a year. Rule number 4. Change y to I and add es to the form the singular verb. Also, in the case of some verbs, you have to change a y ending to a I and then add an es to form the singular verb. For example, he flies south for the winter. Compare this to the plural form of the same verb. Birds fly south for the winter.